Hey guys, what's up? This is Brett and welcome to this week's episode of Friday on the Turntable. Today I'm going to be talking about the new album from someone that I think is one of the most intriguing and one of my absolute favorite artists to come out of the last 10 years or so, and that is Zola Jesus, and this is her new album, Taiga. Now, Taiga represents, to me, two departures for Zola Jesus. Number one of them being she's now left Sacred Bones, which was the label that she started with her first album back in 2009, The Spoils, and now she's on Mute Records, a home of Depeche Mode and tons of great bands over the years, and most recently signed a New Order as well. So she's on Mute. The second is Taiga really, to me, represents a change in her sound and maybe in her motives, because she's definitely dipping her toes into more of a pop sensibilities for this record. What I mean by that is there's a definite change in the presence of the vocals. Her vocals are more up front. There's a different sense of confidence. The lyrics are more clear. And so with that being said, I was able to get an advance of this album about a month ago, so I've had some time with it. And upon my very first listen, I put it in the car right after I got it, and I didn't feel it at all. I was actually pretty disappointed. There was an advanced single that came out before that, Dangerous Days, which I thought was quite great. And upon my first listen to the album, that was definitely the standout track, and everything else really seemed to fall short. One of the initial things that came to mind was Rihanna, and her vocal. There's a definite more of an R&B, slightly urban Rihanna flavor to the vocals, and I'll talk about that as I go through a couple other songs here. But the very next day then I listened to At Home through the big speakers, and it really changed my perception of it. And upon the second listen, I really understood it a lot more. Third listen, so on, it just kept unveiling itself, and I really think it's a solid record. With that being said, I still kind of miss some of the vulnerability and the innocence and the veil-like layers that were kind of covering the lyrics and her vocal delivery. So I do miss some of that, but I understand all artists must grow, change, and do what's right. So let's get into it a little bit more. This was co-produced by a guy named Dean Hurley, and Dean Hurley has worked on various musical projects with David Lynch, which makes sense because David Lynch actually did a remix of In Your Nature from her last studio album, Conatus. To me, one of the most interesting things about the album is this section of horns and strings that are used on several songs in the album. The song Ego is one of them. It's a very... It was initially my least favorite track on the album, but the more I've listened to it and really listened to the texturing of the strings and how it just builds, and there's these horn flourishes, and like I said, they're used in different spots in the album, but when they hit, it immediately makes me think of that opening scene in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, where Jack Torrance is driving through, or the family's driving through those mountains in Colorado, and you hear that really stark, desolate soundtrack, and the car is very small, and you see that huge landscape there with the mountains. They're driving through the tunnel, and the soundtrack has those horns in it, and it's very ominous, it's very unsettling, it's very dark, and that presence is on this album. I mentioned earlier about Rihanna and the pop world, Hunger. That's immediately, when I was listening to this the first time, it's the fourth track on the album. When I listened to Hunger and the beat kicks in and her vocals, that's where I heard Rihanna. Now, for those of you guys out there listening to this and you're thinking, how can he compare Zola Jesus to Rihanna? Well, if you guys have been following her closely, you'll know that she actually did a cover of Rihanna's Diamonds for a Sacred Bones compilation. So I guess it's safe to say that Zola Jesus does appreciate the work of Rihanna. So this is Nails, another one. It's got this a cappella harmonized vocal intro, and just as the song starts to just move forward, other layers start to creep in, little strings, and then there's just, as the song progresses, there's all these layers of vocals in the background. Set me free. Great line. Set me free. Pull the nail out with your teeth. You know, kind of about personal freedom and freeing yourself from these bonds, however they've been placed on you. Great song. Hollow, another one, opens with that barrage of strings and horns, and reoccurs in the chorus, and it's just such a, well, as I said before, it just always, whenever I hear it, it just makes me think of The Shining, and Shining is my all-time favorite movie. So as usual, three favorite tracks on Taiga. Dangerous Days, that opening single, it's just great, and if that was meant to be a pop single, you know, I wish I could turn on the radio and all pop singles had that quality to it. It's a great upbeat song, catchy as hell. So is Go, blank C, parentheses, blank C, second single on this album, is another one of my favorites. Excellent vocal performance. And if I were working for Mute Records, I would have picked both of those songs as the opening singles as well. Third favorite track, Nail, which I just talked about. And I'm going to throw out a fourth one as well. Long Way Down is another one. So before I wrap this up, just want to show you guys the quick vinyl package here. There we go. Front cover, back cover, song titles. Comes with a really nice insert that folds out into a poster. On the back side of it as the lyrics to all the songs along with the credits. Comes with a download card that reflects the artwork. And there is the label along with the black sleeve that it comes with. Zola Jesus, Taiga. For those of you guys unfamiliar, I'm going to have a link below to my blog. You can check out a few songs. But there we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.